Hey. How you doing? It's been a while. Like 3 months or something? Just an indiscriminate quantity of time. And I've been pretty busy making this video over the past 3 months. Despite the fact that it's been almost 3 months, this video has been a long time coming. As I mentioned in one of my previous videos, I moved. And so I was trying to set up my new workspace and studio in this new place. And that is exactly what I did. And then I got distracted and found more things and projects to do that I wanted in my studio along the way. And now we're here. So let's go. I went to IKEA and I bought this pine desk and chair. I also bought a bookshelf and put about half of the books I own on it, so it looks somewhat presentable. I also decided it's finally time for me to organize my art supplies and the stationery that I've been hoarding for the past 5 to 10 years.
Oh yeah.
So I got my little rolly cart and put it next to my desk, and finally started organizing some of these supplies. And that's it. My workspace is done. Super easy video. Everyone, thanks so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Just kidding, just kidding, just kidding. That's not the end of the video, but let's dive into some real DIY shenanigans. Okay, this past weekend I found some chairs online that I'm hoping to go and purchase today. Hopefully get this little like bookshelf nook reading area completed. It's like phase 2 of getting my workspace pulled together, and it's 3 months later, but you know, it is what it is. And I guess if I go out today to pick up these chairs, I will bring you along with me. Okay, so here are the plates for the chairs, but they don't fit in my car. She's being really nice and she's getting like a bird scooter version of an SUV that's just here in DC, and she's coming to put those in the back of that car and then drive them back to my place. So, almost done. So this is the chair. It is a lot bigger in person than I initially thought it was going to be, but not necessarily in a bad way. I can imagine just curling up in this, having it be super, super cozy. So it is time to go get this fabric. I'm going to this place called, I think it's Fabric Basement. That's maybe about 30 minutes away from here, and it looks like it's got the best selection for the most different types of fabrics. So I'm hoping I can find like a good dark olive green. If not, then I guess I can go to Joann's or some other fabric place, but off we go. This one right here, which I feel like my camera is actually making it look pretty, but I think it also looks very green because this one's in comparison to this like more like brown-ish green color, and the one next to it is like very Christmas tree forest green. It's not too bad. There's also this one, which it doesn't look very olivey on camera, but it's It's not exactly what I'm looking for, but let's keep looking and see if we can see anything else. Alright, so that store was kind of a bust. They only had like solids in the quilting section, and none of them were really the olive color that I was looking for. They were either too like avocado brown-y or like Christmas tree green. I'm debating whether or not I want to go to like Joann's or something. I guess I'll Google really quick to see if there is any near here. Otherwise, I'll probably have to maybe go home for the evening and try again tomorrow morning. Alright, so it's the next morning, but I realized I haven't shown you what the cushions look like, and I thought this morning while I was eating breakfast and just staring at the chair that's in my living room that I don't know how to do this piping that's on the corners and the edges, and luckily these, as you can see, have like the zipper, but I need to figure out how to do the piping. I don't know if this is like, when I was in the fabric basement, they had like a whole upholstery tool section, and they had like strips of ribbon or like, it almost kind of looked like waistband elastics, but I'm wondering if that is what this piping is, because it's stiff inside, or is it just fabric that's been like rolled in on itself and then sewn into these like two pieces of fabric, if it's just like stuck in there and then sewn one strip. You know what I might do before I leave? Because I'm going to go to a couple fabric stores this morning. I'm just going to go to Joann's first because it's the closest and it's the largest that I can find that will probably have the fabric that I'm looking for at like not a ridiculous price. But I think I might turn this inside out and see how it's made, or how it was sewn together, and that I think will help me figure out whether or not I need to go back to the fabric fabric place basement to buy those strips, or if I can just kind of like wrap fabric within itself and pop it in there. Okay, so I opened this up this morning before I left, and I think I understand, after watching a couple YouTube videos, how this might have been done. You make this part separately, obviously, and then you just, you know, pop it in. I went to like 5 different fabric stores and only got 2 swatches because these were the only 2 greens that I liked, or that was kind of close. I want to do a cotton because while I really like the look of velvet, it's impossible to clean, and all of the velvet that is within barely my price range is all polyester, and I really don't want to support buying polyester fabric if I can help it. So I'm down to these 2 greens. So this one's kind of more of like got yellower tints, and this one's obviously got more like greens in it. I'm leaning towards this one just because I feel like this is giving me like green carpet vibes. I don't know if you understand what I mean by that. I think this was like $9 a yard, which I don't know the exact number of yardage that I'm going to need for this project. For each chair though, I have like an estimated 6.5 yards. At least that's what Martha Stewart says, and I guess who am I to argue with her on that? It is the next morning. I got all of the fabric in that color yesterday that I could, which was only about 3.5 yards, unfortunately. But I found out that they're apparently discontinuing the green, and they're just keeping the number but changing the color to a slightly more like foresty Christmas green. To which I went home and immediately looked it up online to see if I could find that color online somewhere, and I think I did, and at a discount, like $3 cheaper. So I ordered 13 yards because Martha Stewart says apparently you need 6.5 yards for a club chair, and I don't know if that's covering the entire club chair, but I figured that should be enough, and it'll give me something left over to make into like shorts or pants or something. I can just casually match my furniture. Anyway, today I've got hair protection, breathing protection, because these chairs are covered in like pet dander, and I'm very allergic to pet dander or dandering pets. Pets that dander? Pets of the dander. All I need today is a screwdriver and the willpower to try to do something that I've never done before, If any of you are familiar with reupholstery, I am just gonna severely apologize for the absolute nonsense that I'm about to get into right now. Camera was a little far away. I thought they might not actually know what I'm doing in like the process, and I should probably, talk about it. The first thing I'm doing is taking off this like piping. All of this piping can be taken off easily. It's just glued on, and as you can see, I've already started to do it. Huzzah! So my first step, take this off and somehow salvage it. This is good piping. I don't have to pay for piping if I just reuse this piping. Phase 2, after getting the piping off, is to get this off. It's on the front and the back of the chair. And then trying to do the same for this section and this section. This section's gonna be the tricky one because I'd like to save this because this is nice. I just don't know how these two things are connected. And the underside of the chair, which I realized I haven't shown you, has this black professional upholstery bottoming to it, and I'd like to keep that too because that's nice and I won't have to pay for it. So I'm hoping if I start taking this off like from the edge, I can maybe see, because it feels like it's been sewn together. So what I think I might be able to do is if I can take this whole thing off in one sheet, I can make a pattern on the green fabric for this bit and then just sew this bit with the green fabric onto this bit. That might not have made any sense to you, but it makes sense in my brain right now, and that's what I'm going with. I wonder if I can jump rope with this. Hold on, let me see. Alright. Bring it around. The way these are is there's two pieces of cording, one piece of fabric. You just sew it down the middle, and you got your double cording. This is taking a lot longer than I anticipated. The glue from the piping has actually covered over most of the staples, which makes a lot of sense. So I'm having to scrape off the glue and then pry the staples, and I don't want to do it on the wood side, so I'm trying to do it from the fabric side because I don't really intend on keeping any of this fabric. I'll check back in with you once I've gotten all the staples off and I can satisfactorily peel this fabric off like a sheet of dead skin off of somebody's sunburned back, which is a really disgusting but yet satisfying image. These staples are really tough to get out with my screwdriver, so luckily my boyfriend was already at the store and I asked him if he could pick me up some utility pliers. That should hopefully be a lot easier. I've seen some videos where they just stick it into the fabric and then roll and it rips all the staples out. I keep getting really tempted to just slice the fabric off, but I keep telling myself you need to use this for a pattern, so. I'm gonna keep ripping the rest of this apart. I gotta do the back now, so I gotta take the foam off and do the back. And then I'll probably take a lunch break because it's almost 12:30 and I am hungry and I need food. I've peeled back the fabric and the foam layers, and there's actually this interlining fabric between the fabric that's on the back and the foam. So I think what I'll do is, I think that's a good choice, or a wise thing to do. I mean, this was professionally upholstered by somebody. I'm just a first-time DIYer enthusiast that is often getting way into over her head. But what I think I'll do is I've got a bunch of muslin left over from my kimono project that I can just put like a swath of muslin in here, call it a day, bing bang boom, done. So I might take my lunch break now because I started taking away these outer staples that the fabric's been folded over, and I was like, yeah, I'm almost done. But then I tried to pull this fabric down, like, wait, why isn't it going down? Flipped it up, oh look, a whole new row of staples. So I think I might take my lunch break now and come back to this afterwards. To rip out all of the staples around the back, of which there are many, like a quarter of the way through. So I just wanted to show you another close-up of like the pure chaos amount of staples that are in this chair. Regardless, can we just take a moment to appreciate the back of this chair? The back and the arms are done, and my back and my arms are very much done too. I think I'll start working a little bit on the bottom, and then around like 4:30, I'm just gonna go take a shower and then start making dinner because I'm an adult and I have to cook things for food. Alrighty, so I've got this first front part off. I've got a little setup over here. You can see the fluff, there's foam, and then like a super dense like packing foam. And I figured out how this and this are connected. It's just a simple like seam stitch here, and it's, when you fold it over, it looks like it's, you know, it hides the stitch. So I will just need to cut out fabric for this bit. I still need to remove this so I can sew the new fabric onto it. Almost there. I have to say one thing though, whatever this stuff is a nightmare. It is the demon of all like fabric fillers. It's floofy and soft, and it feels like sheep's wool, but it like flakes off like fiberglass. Alright, so I got all of the foam and stuff off. I'm trying to get this off. Luckily, it's not connected to the jute, but there is like a whole swath of demon floof. Alrighty, the chair is officially stripped to bare bones, and now all I have left to do is to start cutting out the fabric and to do the reversal of this process. I definitely think I'm gonna need more staples for my industrial staple gun, but for now, I'm gonna go eat some lunch. It's stapling time. Okay, so it is time to get started, and since we're actually working with things that can fly at my face at high volume of speed and possibly blind me, I'm gonna try and do the responsible adult thing and wear safety goggles because I don't want to blind myself. I'm gonna trim off the excess fabric and then start working on the arms. So I'm wondering, or thinking, if I could use this for the cording, because I have to cut the cording on the bias, and I don't Now that I think about it, I probably can't. On to the arms. Alright, so a lot has happened since the last time we checked in. I finished sewing the green fabric, as you can see, onto the houndstooth. It's not the right. Herringbone. There we go. It's early. I'm tired. I got this all on, and I've got the corners sewn. This part I left I didn't sew because I feel like I'm gonna, well, you can see I'm gonna need to cut around this. Also, just noticed these staples, need to get those out. But my next step, I've got this stapled on. I did the double staple thing. Now it is time to replace all of this here. And I need to vaguely remember the order. I'm pretty sure it went like hard white foam, soft yellow foam, demon floofy foam, and then this. So that's the order we're gonna go with. I just need to remember like the placement. I'm pretty sure it just goes along this wooden barrier. The like white foam does, and the yellow foam goes over to here, and then the floofy floof goes over to here, and then this goes plop. So we shall see. I'm gonna do the front part first and then move on to the sides, because that's when I can do the cutting and folding and like sewing of this, and hopefully that won't be too much of a nightmare, but we'll see. So I've gotten the front part stapled down. The only thing that I'm having a weird issue with on this side is this corner here. Over here, I need to fold these things over, but it's not quite connected in the seam. So I think I'm gonna go and take some of my thread and like try and pull and stitch it up together, hopefully somewhat neatly, and see what we can do. I sewed this side up. It's not the neatest in the world, but you know what? It works, and this is the only green thread I had. I've got the padding placed on this side. I just got to staple it in, and then before I can place the rest of the padding on this side, I've got to sew this side, so I'm going to do that now. Alright, so while I was sewing this side, I finally think I figured out what these staples here are for. To like tighten this up, so like to staple it here so this part stays taut. Makes sense. Don't know if I can angle my stapler to get this, but we shall see. The fabric gods have smiled upon me. The 13.5 yards of fabric, which is 6 pounds, is an exact match for the one that I already bought, which means I have all the fabric I need now to finish the second chair, which makes me very, very happy because I didn't just waste $75 and 13.5 yards of fabric. So, yay! Alrighty, now that the chair is all tacked down, my next phases are to cut the cording out of that fabric and put it into the green fabric, and to now begin demolishing this and the rest of the cushions so that I can take patterns from this and use it for that. I'm going to be reusing the zippers and reusing that cording because it's more eco-friendly and I don't have to buy more supplies. So off to the races with this next phase, and then hopefully we will soon be done. Alright, so I got the fabric unpicked, and I got the zipper and the cord out because if you remember, there's a little like cording like bump on the edge of the pillow. I've got one cut out. I need to cut out this one, and then I need to cut out the fabric for the cording. I'm going to probably cut with the rest of the cording in that pile right there. I've cut out the strip for the piping on the back seat cushion. All that's left is to start sewing the cords into the fabric and then sewing the pieces together. Yeah. Okay, so I've got the piping pinned in. That was my knees cracking. Sounding like I'm dying. I'm not. Okay, so I've got the piping pinned into the first cushion. I'm trying to do it so I can sew it the wrong side's facing and inside out, and then like flip it inside out so this comes out on top. What I'm going to do is I'm going to sew this piping onto this first side first, and then I'm going to sew the second one on top, and then sew on the zipper, and then flip it inside out. And I hope that works because I don't know or can't think of any other way to do it. So I'm going to sew this up real quick and then pin the next one on. Okay, so I got the zipper sewn on, and I went to flip it inside out, and this fell off, which seems like some sort of karmic revenge. So I'm gonna see if I can figure out how to put this thing back on, and hopefully I won't have to go and buy a new zipper. It is officially time to put in the cushion and these fluffy fluff balls. Let's hope it fits. And let's hope I don't break the zipper while trying to put it on. So, the back cushion is done. It is a little wonky, but all in all, like, am I mad? Absolutely not. This, since I've never made a cushion before, I'm actually really happy with how it turned out. I kind of like the little wonky, ripply bits. I think I know what I need to do for the other chair, but I think I'm gonna rearrange the cotton bits in there, puff out the corners, and then I'm gonna get started on the seat cushion. I'm hoping to have that finished by today, so I can start working on the cording. I want to finish this chair today.
One eternity later.
Alright, so I'm almost done with cutting everything out. I've got the big parts cut out and the strips over there cut out. All I have left to do is cut out the stuff for the piping, and like I did with the previous cushion, I'm trying to cut along a bias, or the bias. My angles aren't super sharp because I'm trying to use up as much scrap fabric as I can because I don't want to dive too deep into my backlog of fabric. I know I'll have enough, but I just want to be super careful. It has been made, and I didn't do a terrible job. Alrighty, so after sewing these wrong and then sewing them right, I've got both infinity loops done, and now it's time to pin these to the base cushion pattern. and get it sewn up. There's one on the top and one on the bottom, so what I'm thinking is I'll sew one to one and one to the other, and then sew those two pieces together. So that should go perfectly fine. Scratch that, before we start pinning, I need to iron the crap out of this, so let's do that instead first.
Listen to the steam. It's very soothing. We're melting away. Like these wrinkles.
Alright, so this is the fruits of labor from last evening. I've gotten the side bit sewn in and the cording sewn in. I've left these unsewn, and I've got some extra fabric here. I'm honestly not sure how this happened because I took the same measurements from what I got, which makes me slightly nervous, but I also looked on my other cushion and the cording completely wraps around. There's no like weird non-cording space. So what I'm probably going to do is cut this here and here where the cording ends, and then just get rid of this and sew it over. But before I can do that, I need to sew these two pieces together, and I have them with this because these were for the zipper, and I just wanted to remember how they were folded onto the zipper so I can remember how to sew it. I gotta sew this onto here, and then I've got to sew these over the zipper bit and like fold and tuck it in so that it stops the zipper from zipping off like it did with that cushion. I also have to still sew the cording onto this one. So next steps will probably be sew the cording onto this, then sew this and that together, and then sew that onto that, and then sew those onto that. We are so close. Okay, so I got the side things sewn on over the zipper, I got the zipper sewn onto one. Now all I need to do is sew this one and this one together. All that's left after I can somehow magically get the cushion back inside is to make cording and to glue that on and trim any of this excess bit off. Alright, it is all sewn up. It doesn't match quite yet because I tried to sew the cording as straight as possible. I'm hoping once I get the cushion in, it'll fill out itself nicely. But now is the challenge of trying to remember where all the fluff goes and to get the cushion inside. With some slight difficulty and a lot of very weird squooshing, I was able to get the base into the cloth fabric cover. I also somehow ended up ripping the zipper head off again, so I'll need to figure out how to reattach that onto the back. But for the moment, I just wanted to gaze in the glory of the almost finished chair with both the cushions on. All I have left to do is to strip those cords over there, make the cording, sew that all together, and then glue it on to the chair. And then it will be officially done. So I've pinned both arms in place with the piping, and all I have left to do is to make the piping for the base and the back. yes, behold the distinguished gentlewoman sitting upon this divine chair that she has reupholstered with her own 2 hands. All she has left to do is to sit, relax, and bask in the glow of her crafty DIY endeavors. However, it appears she has completely forgotten about the absolute chaos that has engulfed the immediate area, which has birthed a maelstrom of work to do, as well as the rest of the studio space that she had desired to improve, but most likely won't do today because she has the unholy afterbirth of her DIY project to clean up. So, with a heavy sigh and little choice, she must drag herself from the comforts of her labor and throw herself into the pit of propriety in order to not only reach the other areas of the room for their improvement, but to make it what we gentlefolk would call socially acceptable. It is the next morning, and as you can see, my workspaces are a bit of a mess. There is stuff all over the floor, all over like every possible flat surface. And instead of showing you a time-lapse video of me cleaning this up, we are going to use movie magic. It's at this point that I decided that my bookshelf needed a little bit of tidying and redecorating, so I laid out all of my knickknacks and got to work. After finishing the bookshelf, the wall behind the chair seemed kind of bare to me, so I thought, you know what, what's better than putting a photo gallery wall up there? So I cut out some pieces of paper in the shapes and sizes of the pictures that I had and started templating them on the wall with some Scotch tape. Once I found a layout that I liked, it was time to hang things up. Now, a normal adult would use like nails and a stud finder and a hammer, but I'm gonna use the cheaper option, which is command strips and duct tape. I used command strips on the only actual framed picture, and everything else I just used some Scotch tape on the back, and you know what? It works for me. I do plan on actually framing these photos. I just didn't have time to order custom frames since all of these photos are very odd sizes. Hopefully in some videos down the line, you'll be able to see the photo gallery wall with actual pictures in actual frames instead of just using Scotch tape. The project is complete, for now. I'd like to add a lot more to my studio, like some storage, but having my art supplies caddy right next to my desk works great for me on a day-to-day basis. I'm also so stoked with how good this chair came out. It's perfect for weekend, lazy mornings under a warm, cozy blanket, reading a really good book, and drinking an amazing cup of hot tea. For now, the extra space in the studio is perfect for whatever I need, like laying on the floor and staring blankly into the never-ending void as I contemplate the meaning of my existence and what I'm actually doing with my life. Oh, and snow angels! The extra space is also perfect for setting up my kotatsu on a chilly morning, just drinking some tea and playing some Switch games. This space and this chair is also perfect for just winding down at the end of the day with a good book or just some sketching exercises and just relaxing. Thank you so much for joining me on this very long video journey. I hope you enjoyed watching. If you did, please like and subscribe because it took many months to make this video. Also, I have a spooky Halloween video coming out in the next few weeks, so please stay tuned for that. And as a special thanks for making it through the complete video, please enjoy the next few clips of humiliation that I have endured through the making of this video. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Cannot say that I am not a graceful lady trying to get this cushion off and using its having to like thigh master the cushion.
to the rest of the chair.